So we have to talk about how many Democrats are starting to come to the realization that everything they were told to about, when it came to Biden's, cognitive decline, it was all a lie, right? And now they're starting to realize, like, you know what, everything that was told to us through the media, through, his peoples, it was all lies. And it's funny too, because it doesn't take a genius to see that Biden was in cognitive decline, right? You could just look at him, like, he wasn't there. It didn't look sentient. It was like you could just tell he just wasn't there. And everybody on the right that was saying this, I mean, they've been saying this since 2020 when he was running, that he just doesn't look there. That this guy is not all there, and this guy is just not. He's not going to make it through his term. That's how bad he looked. But the people on the left just said, oh, it's just propaganda. It's just conspiracy theories, and it took the debate for everyone to actually see and realize, like, all right, yeah, this dude is cooked. Like, we need to get him off. And it's just so funny because you call this conspiracy theory, but everybody was talking about this, but you had everyone in the media saying, oh, he's fit as a fiddle. He can do marathons. He's like, it's Trump that's in decline. And, like, come on now. Like, anyone that can see that is clear as day that Biden isn't there. So you got a lot of Democrats, especially on CNN, who are starting to now, they're going to share their feelings on how they felt that now with all this coming out, how they feel lied to. So let's hear what they got to say.
So just how worried were Biden aides before the former president's disastrous debate last summer? According to Ron Klain, his chief of staff, his concerns could not be overstated. The former Biden chief of staff spoke to the journalist Chris Whipple for his new book that details last year's unconventional race. And just 4 days before the debate, Klain recalled that Biden didn't know what Trump had been saying and couldn't grasp what the back and forth of the campaign was. And at his first meeting with Biden for debate prep, quote, Klain was startled. He'd never seen Biden so exhausted and so out of it. Biden was unaware of what was happening in his own campaign. Halfway through the session, the president excused himself and went off to sit by the pool. In a statement to CNN, Klain said the excerpts from the book distorted his meaning. He says, I had no doubts then or now about the president's mental acuity. My point was that he was exhausted from travel and sick and overly focused on foreign affairs and detached from domestic policy. He says that Biden wasn't in the flow on the arguments of the campaign and was focused on Ukraine and Israel. I am not sure that is...
I mean, it's not. The dude is 81 years old. Man. He's an old man. Like, it's not, and it's not even just that. It's the fact that you can see this. You can see the guy where he's walking, the way he's talking. Like, he slurs his speech. Like, he's clearly lost a lot of steps. And the fact that so many people on the right were saying this, and people on the left were saying, you don't know what you're talking about. It's just that it just shows the lack of judgment that you have when it comes to judging the person that's leading this country, like the president of the United States. And everyone was making this claim that Trump is the person that's in decline. I mean, Trump has so much energy, it's crazy. But then you look at Biden and say that this guy has the energy. It's like, clearly your judgment is off, and you clearly don't want to just face reality, which is a lot of people on the left. Like, they hate Trump so much that they're willing to just dismiss the reality of what's going on in front of them when it comes to Biden cognitive decline.
Is the defense that he thinks it is.
And here's the bottom line, having nothing to do with the excerpt. That special counsel who interviewed President Biden about why he had the files in his garage, I mean, his ultimate conclusion was basically Biden wasn't up. Like he shouldn't be prosecuted out of sympathy. He's an elderly man. He's an elderly man who has a very bad memory and doesn't remember anything that happened.
Ashley, do you feel lied to?
Yeah, I do. I hadn't been around the president before that debate, and I worked for Joe Biden, and if the people around him knew that he was not capable, it is unacceptable to me that they allowed him to go onto that stage. I deserve better as a voter. Not even as a Democrat, as a voter and as an...
Nah, you don't deserve better. Nah, you deserve exactly what you got. You deserve exactly what you got, because somebody could have told you he was in cognitive decline. You probably still wouldn't believe it. You would probably hold on to Biden like, no, you got to beat Trump. You still wouldn't have believed it. So you get exactly what you deserve. Every one of you got voted for him. You get exactly what you deserve. You don't deserve better as a voter, because we could have told you it's obvious. You can see it right in front of your face. You know, you don't need to be there. Like, this dude is clearly not there. And it's funny because you say it about Trump, and it's obviously not true. Trump has so much energy, but all of these many people on the left were saying that he's the one in cognitive decline. Even Anna Navarro right there, like, she knows she's the main culprit with that. So it's just, no, you get exactly what you deserve.
American. I do.
And I know that Joe Biden is a friend, but in this excerpt, the part about the pool, he went off, this is in the middle of debate prep, went off to the pool and he took a nap. And that was before the biggest debate of this campaign. That's not even the governance of the country. So Joe Biden, maybe he has the best intentions. I'm sure that you believe that. But the right decision, it seems pretty unequivocally, is that he should not have run for re-election.
Look, I was also just texting with Ron Klein, and who vehemently says he was taken out of context. I'll tell you my experience, which is what I can talk about. I've known Joe Biden for over 25 years. Certainly, the Joe Biden today is not the Joe Biden of 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago. It's not. But also, I will tell you, and I think that comes out also in the book and the excerpt that I read, something clearly happened that day, around those days, that was not the case the day after. I saw Joe Biden 24 hours after that debate here in New York. He was a completely different person. I saw Joe Biden when he came to The View after he dropped out, and he was a completely different person than what we saw at that debate. What happened around those days? I don't know. And can I tell you something? I don't care, because I want to talk about the future and how we fight Donald Trump and how we get rid.
Nah, what do you mean you don't care? What do you mean you don't care? See, she's one of the people that lied to the public, right? Because it makes no sense that you can say that you don't care. How do you not care? This person is running the country, running the United States of America, and you're talking about you don't care? Because then it makes you think, who was actually running the country? This man said she doesn't care, or you don't care now. But when people are like talking about, all right, who's running this country, who's making the decisions, people need to know this, right? If you can't run the country, then you need to step down. And for her to just dismiss it like, yeah, you don't care, we need to find a way to beat Trump. No, don't do that. Don't do that, because you have no problem if Trump is in that same position. You're going to be talking about it. You're going to care, right? So everyone should care because he is the president of the United States. And to have a leader that's out here not knowing where he is, not understanding what he's signing, that's a big deal, right? You can't just have somebody that's just in cognitive decline running the most powerful country in the world. So yeah, it's a big deal. And then people like her, Anna Navarro, where it's just she's just dismissing it as if it's nothing. That's dangerous, right? So yeah, no, she just obviously she knows she's wrong. She's one of those people that lied to the American people, and she knows.
I mean, he was not a completely different person. He did the Stephanopoulos debate interview to try to save him. He did your show to try to save him. He just, he's the guy who's in his mid-80s. I'm not faulting him. He just wasn't the Joe Biden who was elected 4 years before.
He wasn't the one.
And his family should have pulled the plug.
I said that.
Well, they
His
should
own
have,
family
and so
should have
should
pulled
his
the plug.
advisors. I mean, talk about a big cover-up. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Donald Trump lately. I just want to ask a simple question. Who in the heck was running the country? If the president's mental acuity was in question and some days he's on and some days he's off, was the guy really capable of doing the job day to day? I honestly really question that. And I think a lot of Democrats who said at the time, oh, Joe Biden is the fittest guy in the world. He could do backflips. He could jump into the pool, run marathons, do 100 push-ups. When every freaking person who saw Joe Biden said, there's no one in hell this guy is physically fit. But they told us, don't believe your lying eyes because we're with him every single day. That wasn't true.
One more piece,
it wasn't true.
Just so people understand the other part of this. Ron Klain was talking about how Joe Biden seemed obsessed with what the world thought of him. Klain wondered, half seriously, according to the book, if Biden thought he was president of NATO instead of the U.S. Quote, he just became very enraptured with being the head of NATO. That wouldn't help him on Capitol Hill because, as Klain noted, domestic political leaders do not care what Macron and Schultz think. And he was running for re-election.
Here's what I will say. I try and be an honest broker when I talk about things on this show. And I do think that does not always happen with other guests. What we are
Present
learning.
company excluded, right?
Present company.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure.
what we are hearing right now is unacceptable to me, and I am a Democrat. And I think in order for this country to get back on the right track, when things like this are exposed, we have to call balls and strikes right and wrong. That night of the debate was terrifying for many, it was scary. It hurt my heart, but it was very clear that that might not have been the first time. And I find that unacceptable. I would find that unacceptable in a Trump administration, in an Obama administration, in a Bush administration, and in a Biden administration.
Why do you
All right,
think
we
that
gotta
it
leave
wasn't the
there.
first time?
We really have to leave it there.
So yeah, so look at for me it's just obvious, right? Like Biden, I get it. You want to defend your guy. You want to you hate Trump so much, so you want to defend your guy as much as you can in order to stop that person. But you gotta look at it, objectively. Like this person is running, the United States of America, and he clearly is just not there. Right, you have to worry about his health, his cognitive decline, and these are things that you have to pay attention to. And as much as you hate Trump and you want someone to beat him, you can't just let someone be in charge of a country that's as powerful as the United States. And he was. She talks about calling balls and strikes. Look at. People have been saying this. Like people have been saying this. Like this is not something new. People have been saying this for a while, and especially many people on the right. But of course, a lot of people don't want to listen to it and say, everything being said on the other side is propaganda and it's just conspiracy theories. But it doesn't take a genius, a rocket science to just say, all right, what's going on with Biden is just not healthy. Okay, and people are obviously, his own wife is the person closest to him, and what she did was just obviously reckless, and for a lot of people that's near Biden, what they did was reckless, and they clearly lied to the American people, and it took the debate for people to actually see, clearly this dude he's gone, and that's when they said, we can't hide this, we can't ignore this, and we can't lie about it. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. So guys, take care and have a good one. Later.